After writing 2 transformational books myself and supporting many other beings to do the same, I've become enthralled by the deep and mysterious magic that's activated when we choose to say yes to ourselves and commit to the book writing journey. Of course, we want to inspire change and new perspectives in our readers, but the transformation that happens as an author, both throughout the writing process and by actually releasing your book into the world, is surprisingly potent. I know I've been blindsided in the most disruptive and delicious ways by some of the changes my books have brought into my life. Writing a book is like casting a spell. Although we can never be completely sure what's going to be unleashed during the process, we choose to do it anyway. This Unbound one is a heroic journey. Each book has the potential to be a magical portal, a doorway to a new world, both for you and your reader. Each book has a very specific medicine that it's here to share with us. And each book gives us the opportunity to alchemize the magnificent imperfection of our experience into gold. The truth is that anyone can write a book. We could all get a few thousand words down and put them together. But what fascinates me is what happens when we allow the book writing process to go deeper. When we say, fuck it, get naked and dive way down beneath the surface. Letting go of the shoulds and any need to be acceptable, sensible, or approved of. What fascinates me is what happens when we make ourselves fully available to being transformed by the very act of writing a book. This is Unbound Writing, and this is the process we'll be exploring together here in the Unbound Writers Club. I'm Nicola, author and founder of the Unbound Press, and I help magical beings to write the transformational book they're really here to write at this time. I'm your guide here in the Unbound Writers Club, and the aim of this podcast is to help you to feel supported, encouraged, activated as you embark on your book writing journey. Whether you're a first-time author or have many books out in the world, my hope is that you will find something here to inspire you. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome to the Unbound Writers Club. Today we are continuing with this mini-series based on the idea of the abundant author, how to step into the abundant author you're here to be, the abundant author you already are. It's already a part of your identity. And today I'm talking about compelling offer creation. How to create an offer that helps you to connect more deeply with your people, to be more deeply of service to your audience, your community, that amplifies the message of your book and provides a channel for financial abundance to flow to you. So it's creating an offer that is based on your writing, on your book in some way. That's what we're going to be diving into. And if you haven't listened to the previous couple of episodes, what we've been talking about so far in this Abundant Author mini-series is like how to embody the abundant author and also how to be visible to reach more people and to connect more deeply with your existing people in a really aligned way. So that's what we've been talking about in the last 2 episodes. So you may want to revisit those if you haven't already. And the reason, or a big part of the reason why I'm talking about the abundant author, it's such a theme at the moment, is one, this is the focus for my next book, which is coming out in October. And also we have just opened the doors to a new membership, the Abundant Author Academy. And this is a space where we are diving into all these different layers of how to be the abundant author, like how to create and activate abundance of all kinds in your life and your business, but in particular, financial abundance. Because, I've been saying this throughout this series, part of my intention, my mission is to get more money into the hands of magical beings like you. When that happens, the world changes. So creating a compelling offer is a really important part of this. If you want to dive into this some more, I would love you to come and join us over in the Abundant Author Academy. There's no fancy sales page for this. I'm kind of modeling doing this in a really simple, kind of down and dirty way. So there's a Google Doc with the details. You will find it in the show notes and also in the link in my bio on Instagram. If you can't find it, come find me. Just pop me a DM, pop me a message, pop me an email, and I will make sure you get the invitation. Anyway, let's dive into offer creation. And this is something I was talking about recently when I hosted the 3-day free event, the Abundant Author Activation. And it can throw a lot of us off, actually. Like this, we can get really heady about creating an offer that's based on our book, on our writing, because it's similar to visibility. There can be this like overriding desire to get it right and create the perfect offer. And as with everything on the Abundant Author journey, we get to learn through doing. So the first thing I want to say to you is like, let's take the pressure off. Let's take the pressure off trying to create the perfect offer and just come to this with an energy of fun, playfulness, experimentation. You get to create an offer that either reflects the whole journey of your book. So if you have a book that's complete, out in the world, like, obviously the journey you're taking your reader on, and you can have an offer that reflects that whole journey. Or it can be more of a micro offer where you are looking at one small part of your book or one particular theme, idea, process that you are talking about in your writing, that is coming through in your writing. And when I talk about an offer, there's so many things that this could be. It could be a one-to-one process, a way that you work with your clients one-to-one. It could be a group program. It could be online. It could be in person. It could be a workshop or a retreat. It could be an event or a festival. Like, there are so many different ideas that you can use in order to create an offer. So rather than kind of getting overwhelmed with that, because I know it's like, oh my goodness, what do I pick? I want you to follow what feels good to you here. And the amazing thing about this, so what I invite you to do initially is to reflect on a couple of questions here. What's the transformation you feel most passionate about holding space for right now? What element of your book feels most inspiring to you when it comes to creating an offer? Because you get to choose. Like, you want to pick something that feels really juicy for you rather than being like totally externally motivated and thinking, well, what do other people want from me? Of course, you want to pick something that is going to resonate with your people, but it needs to start with you. And also, you can ask, what kind of offer would your book most like to be the foundation for? You know, a big part of the Unbound writing process, you've probably heard me talk about before, is like knowing your book has an energy, an essence, a spirit, a personality of its own. So you get to check in and ask your book, like, what kind of offer would you like to be the foundation for right now? So reflecting, not quite getting my words out, reflecting on those 3 questions is really going to help you to get some clarity. Like, really tuning into, like, how would you most like to work with people? Do you prefer one-to-one or small or large groups? Do you prefer online or in person? Shorter term or longer term? Do you want to dive deep or do more of an overview? You know, there are different layers of this process that you get to tune into. And let me give you a couple of examples too, because I always feel that it's helpful. Like I said, I know we can get up in our heads about this. So I'll give you a couple of examples from my own experience with my writing, with my books, offers that I've created that are based on what was coming through in my writing. And the first one was around the book Unbound. So my second book, which is really the basis of everything, to be honest. And in that book, I share 5 principles of living unbound, which are like allowing pleasure to be your guide, harnessing the power of your cyclical nature, the alchemy of shadow integration, allowing yourself to really live your gift. I have to remember what they are now, don't I? and sisterhood, the power of sisterhood. So those are the 5, like that's the core of the book. So when that book, actually before it came out, as I was coming towards the end of completing the manuscript for this book, I launched an offer, and it was an online group journey where I was taking people through each of those 5 principles. So it was really, I mean, I do talk about other themes in the book, but that's the core of the book. So really, this was a macro offer where I was taking people on a lot of the journey. Oh, excuse me, my throat. I've been talking a lot this week. A lot of the journey that I was taking people on in Unbound, I was taking them on like more deeply with this group program, and it was called Unbound You. So I kept it super, super simple. And this is another thing. I think sometimes we think we've got to have it all figured out before we actually invite people into our offer. And a lot of the time we can have like the general idea, you know, we have a sense of what it's going to be and what we're going to include, what we're going to talk about, but we can invite people into it before we've kind of tuned into all the nuts and bolts and got it all, you know, all of the content prepared. Because if you wait until that time, you're just going to feel pressured, overwhelmed, or you're likely to, and it's going to take a lot longer. And you also can end up creating something that actually people aren't up for at this time. So you can put a lot of work in and then end up feeling disappointed. Whereas if you have like a pretty good idea what the offer is going to be, you can share the details with people and get a sense of whether there's interest in it. And that's very much what I did with Unbound You. I knew that I wanted to take people through these 5 principles. No one had read the book yet, but I had been sharing elements of the writing along the way. And I, said, do you want to come on this journey with me? And I kept the structure of the offer of the program very simple. So it ran over 10 weeks. So 2 weeks for each of the principles. The first week, I would do some kind of live online call where I was guiding people through an activation. So some kind of meditation, visualization to bring in whatever principle we were talking about. So bringing in the quality of pleasure or your cyclical nature, whatever it was. And I would talk a little bit about it, do this process, this activation, and then offer an assignment for the next couple of weeks. Some way of each person in the program being able to engage, experiment, interact with whatever principle I was talking about. So, I can't remember exactly what they were, but, the first one would have been like experimenting with bringing more pleasure into your experience. And then in the second week, we had a group Q&A. So it was a very simple format. It was very experiential. It wasn't me providing a whole load of information. It was very much let's explore and experiment with these different qualities. So that's an example of an offer where it mirrors like pretty much the full journey that I was taking readers on in my book. And that was created before the book was out in the world. The second example of an offer is like a micro offer. And that was my creating a community experience offer, which again was an online experience. It was a group, like a small group program that I took people through. And it was based on a section of my Unbound writing book, How to Write the Transformational Book You're Really Here to Write. And one of the stages of Unbound writing is community. And one of the questions I often got, like I talk about it in the book, but I don't go into specifics. And it's like, well, how do you create community? So actually, when I first offered create a community experience, I did that as a one-off online workshop. where people could show up. I took them through the process of creating an online, like 3 to 5 day community experience, like a challenge or an online coaching series, which has the intention of bringing your people together, creating a bit of a buzz, creating connection, taking them through some kind of process, and really fostering, cultivating that sense of community, connection, so people can get to know you better, but they also get to connect and get to know each other better. So I ran that as an online workshop initially, and then it became something that I offered as a program, which people could purchase and just work through in their own time. And I've also run a live round of it. And actually, this is something now which will go into the Abundant Author Academy, which is the new membership. So that was something, like I say, a micro offer, which was based on one particular element of one of my books, where I took a theme that I talk about in the book more broadly and offered something really specific. So it gives you an example of the kind of things that you can do. I mean, I've created so many offers based on my writing. This new membership, the Abundant Author Academy, is completely based on the next book, which is coming out, The Abundant Author, which is coming out in October. And we're going through all of the different themes of that. So my invitation to you is open up to the possibilities. If you were going to create one offer right now that was based on your book or on your writing, like you definitely don't have to wait until your book is out in the world. You can take one theme, one element of what's coming through in your writing or one chapter of your book and let that be the basis for something you want to create and offer, like an invitation for your people to go deeper with you. If you were going to do that right now, what would it be? And again, coming back to those questions, like what's the transformation you feel most passionate about holding space for right now? What element of your book feels most inspiring to you when it comes to creating an offer? And what kind of offer would your book most like to be the foundation for? You might want to write those down and take some time to journal on it. See what comes through. And then obviously, in terms of next steps, it's tuning into the details, like deciding on the price, which, is a whole other issue. That is something we'll definitely be diving into in the Abundant Author Academy, creating an invitation, inviting people in, and you get to do that really simply as well. Launching, I'm not a massive fan of that word, but like laid back launching is my vibe. Again, that's something we'll be talking more about in the membership, but hopefully that gives you something that's like sparked off some ideas for you. And I would love to hear what's been coming through, what ideas for an offer you have. So as ever, please do reach out and let me know. The best place to find me is on Instagram. I'm at Nicola Humber. Come find me over there and let me know what's bubbling for you. Next time, I'm going to be diving into the magic of connection and collaboration when it comes to like expanding your audience, reaching new people and new opportunities. So I hope you'll join me for that. And in the meantime, here's to being the abundant author you are here to be. What do you do when you want to write a book, but the usual approaches are leaving you feeling restricted, pressurized, not at all enough, and pretty dry, to be honest? You find another way, of course. And if you are listening to this, my free unconventional book writing guide is going to be perfect for you. It's designed especially for soul-led coaches, healers, and mentors who want to write a transformational book without spending hours on end chained to a desk. In it, I'm giving you my unique spin on the top 10 questions I hear from would-be authors, and it's going to help you liberate the way you write forever. Download your free copy of the guide now over at nicolahumber.com/10, the number 10, 10 hyphen questions.